got the machine set up now, and I poured a little bit of black ink in the ink cup. And what I'm going to do is we're going to practice on a grapefruit. This is a good thing to practice on because it's small. It's kind of hard to get straight lines to go across this, and that's a good practice because when you start on skin, it's not going to be a flat surface anyway. You're going to be on arms and legs and things, and they're going to be kind of rounded anyway. It'll give you a good feel for the machine. When you hold your tattoo machine, you never want to hold it straight up and down like this and push down into it. The machine gets held at a 45-degree angle, and you're going to just draw across like this. And we're going to start at the bottom and work up on all the lines. Later on in the video, you'll see when we're actually tattooing somebody, I talk about where to start on the tattoo, how you work from the bottom up, and it's pretty well explained in there. But for right now, all you want to do is just get a feel of what this thing's actually going to do. So we're going to start the machine, we dip it in the ink, and just take it and just run a little line. You're going to get a lot of ink that's going to splash around the edges and stuff like that. Have a paper towel ready, and you can wipe it off, and that's basically what you got. You want to get it so you have a pretty nice straight line. You can take a pen, you can draw some simple little figures onto here if you want, little flowers, curved lines, anything you need to practice with. Another good thing to practice with also, you can actually take a pencil and take your tube and your needle out, put the pencil up in here. You may have to wrap some tape around the edge of the pencil because it might not be as thick as this tube. Lock the pencil down, get some paper, and just sit and draw on paper to get the feel of the weight of this machine on your hand all the time. That'll give you a pretty good feeling of how it is. So, like I said, you're just going to practice on this whole grapefruit. You know, practice straight lines, and then you want to practice some like simple stuff like circles. You could do some curved lines on here, and just wipe it off so you can kind of see what you're doing. If you're trying to draw a straight line and you're winding up, and I'm going to draw a rotten line here, and you wipe your thing off and you're getting something like that, that means you're not pulling your hand across steady, you're not pulling it across slow. You want to do it in a real easy, sweet motion. You don't want to go too slow either. When you're actually tattooing somebody, you're not going to want to go and sit there and go that slow because that needle's going in and out of them. Once you start, you want to keep that machine moving. Take your foot off the pedal, it'll stop, and you look. That's the kind of lines you want to have. You want to have straight lines. You don't want anything jagged. You don't want them to look where when you're making the line, you're going to have a nice smooth line, then you're going to have a big ball of ink there. That'll happen if you're going too slow. What you're going to do is you're going to wind up with a straight line, and then all of a sudden, I don't know if the show go down this grapefruit, but we'll see how it looks. You know, you're going to have a real thick line, then you're going to have a thin line. You want that line to be like this. You want a one consistent look to the line as you're tattooing. And that's pretty much all you have to do to practice. I mean, get yourself a bag of grapefruits and do quite a few of those before you're even going to attempt to do someone's skin. Yeah. What I did now is I switched this over and I put a shading needle in there. This is a 7 shader. It's a round shader. And that's basically what you're going to be using to practice with and start your first tattoos are round shaders and outliners. You don't want to start, you'll see in some of the catalogs they have flat shaders and magnum shaders and they put ink faster. You're not even going to want to mess with those. That's a little more advanced. You're going to start with a simple round shader. This is a 7 round. And what I did on the grapefruit, like I was saying, you can just draw simple little shapes on here. It'll kind of show you how to shade and stuff. Just always remember you're going to have a light source on any tattoo you do. Always think about the lights coming from one direction. So if it's coming from this side, you're going to want to shadow everything so your lights are on one side, your darks are on the other side. And you can practice with this just like you're doing skin. Just kind of, you're going to see a little bit more ink coming out. You can see a little puddle of ink there. Then when you actually do skin, you probably won't get that much ink because this surface we're hitting here is pretty hard, so it's projecting out. So skin's a little softer, obviously, so you won't get that. But you can basically just go around your shape and just kind of, you can shade different stuff. Just to get an idea, I'm just shading from one side and kind of just pulling out the machine so it gets a little bit of shading to it. You know, so start like each one of those, you can go around like that. wipe it off. And the center of this little design here, we'll fill it in. So just kind of follow it around and color. And when you color, you're going to color in small circles. You can see on the machine, I'm just barely making circles here. You're going to keep the machine moving, and each circle will overlap the last row that you did. And you're just going to keep doing that, and that's how you'll get a nice solid filled in area. And you'll see when we do the actual tattoo on somebody how this actually works. You can skip ahead on the tape and watch that, even though you're not going to start on skin, because you'll actually see what all this is doing and how everything is shadowed and shaded and how important that is when you're going to do the tattoo. But for now, you're going to just keep practicing on this kind of stuff. Practice your lines and outlines. So get yourself a few of these bags of grapefruits, because you're going to want to go through quite a few of those before you start on somebody. And again, always wear the gloves when you're working, you know. You're going to be working with skin, and there's going to be blood involved, so you're going to want to keep everything sterile, sanitized, and keep your hands protected. So always work with gloves, just as a practice. Just get into that habit of always wearing some good rubber gloves.